butterflies. I know you have missed this face. I haven't been around in quite some time. You know, this entire year, I have not done one singular episode. I hit episode 100 and then I stopped. And I've been giving you guys some quarterly updates about my life because I really haven't been doing anything when it comes to the Antisocial Socialite. And while this is not my quarterly recap just yet, that will be coming in just a few weeks' time of recapping what has happened in Q3 of my life. I wanted to come on here and talk some shit. And you know that is actually what I'm so good at in real life and on camera. So I figured let's just talk some shit together. I just wanted to get some feedback. First of all, I'm just noticing, is my part straight on? I think so, but now when I look up, it doesn't. So, you know what, if you were ever judging me about that, let's judge right now. Let's just get it out of the way, okay? No, but my biggest thing that I have always told everybody that I come in contact with that talks about medical things is advocate for yourself. Like, don't get discouraged when a doctor tells you no. If you're not satisfied with that answer, you push them harder, you go see somebody that will listen to you, because I think our entire US medical industry is so scammy and corrupt and just in it for the money. And obviously, like, while we want universal healthcare, I don't think that will ever be in our capitalist country, but there's a lot of things that like could actually be changing, that we're not profiting off of illness while the government's also allowing food companies to pump us with illness with food. So I think I have talked to you guys before. I do have a wheat allergy, and while I try to stay gluten-free, I can't avoid it all the time, and that's just what it is. But I've been really trying to focus on like gluten-free foods and changing my diet and just being better at that, right? So I've been talking to a dietitian, and she's like, well, that makes sense. If you've been doing gluten-free things, they're also replacing like the things that would have had gluten in that and extracting them, but putting fattier foods into or fattier ingredients into the food in order to give you that flavor and that taste back. And that explains why you're telling me, although you've been changing your diet, you're gaining weight. So my weight has fluctuated on and off my entire life. That is no secret. You could literally look at pictures from a few years ago and be like, wow, you were blonde and skinny. And then you look at like 10 years before that and you're like, hey, you were a chubster, also blonde, but a little bit bigger. And then you look at me when I was in high school and you're like, oh, hey, you just turned blonde, because I was blonde for 20 years. That's why I'm like using that as a marker. And you were emaciated and you couldn't keep any food in your system, and you would basically like shit yourself if you even just like took in a breath of fresh air, because I was sick all the time, right? So like over the last couple of years, I discovered that I had a wheat allergy. And I also have a soy tolerance. So again, I am limited on what I can enjoy from the stores, and have not fully made that like fruit and veggie transition, and I'm not a big cook. So, you know, I'm doing the best I can. But this leads me all to say that I want you to advocate, and I want you to not get discouraged about the doctors that are out there that just completely dismiss everything that you have to say. So at the end of June, I went for my physical that I had scheduled for like almost a year, and it kept getting pushed back, rescheduled, canceled, all of that stuff. I really don't understand why it's so hard to just get a regular schmegular physical in, and I actually had to book for 2025 when I was there, a year in advance, because it's that hard to get into a doctor, which number one should be like absolutely criminal to do that. And thankfully, like nothing is like severely wrong with me. But I was expressing to my doctor, like, you know, just reading and doing more research about lipedema, I am 100% positive I have lipedema. You can tell by my lunch lady arms, as my brother loves to call them, which is part of the symptoms, I guess you want to say, or like characteristics of having lipedema, and the way that my legs are shaped and they hold their weight and everything that's about it, and about the description of how they're just like painful and heavy to hold and you bruise easily. And I also look at family history, and I'm like 100% I have lipedema. I know it. So during my physical, I brought that up with my doctor, and I was like, hey, doc, I think I have this. And I also have a lipoma in my leg, which is like just like a hard lump of fat, for lack of better terms. I mean, because that's what it is, but it's like the size of not quite a ping pong ball, but like about that size. And it's bothersome. And it actually is painful, right? So I told her, hey, I'm pretty sure I have lipedema. I want to learn more about it. Want to see like how I can change my lifestyle if appropriate. Obviously, I know I have to lose weight, right? And there is surgeries and stuff that you could do for it. I don't know if I want to get to that level, but it's something I want to explore if this is something, because they also call it like lymph saving surgery, because it's my lymph nodes that are being affected, which is causing the lipedema, right? So all these things. She was like, just go talk to this general surgeon about it. He'll take care of you. Great. So I go to the general surgeon and I'm like, hey, Doc. I mean, again, everybody is just Doc in this conversation. And I was like, hey, doctor with crusty white shit in like the corners of your mouth. I wanted to talk to you after I just spoke to like the 2 resident doctors there, who then in turn told him everything I said. I had to repeat the story for the 3rd time. And I'm like, I have a lipoma in my leg. I wanted to discuss that. And also my doctor had wanted me to talk to you about learning more about lipedema. And he was like, you need to lose weight. I'm like, well, no shit. And I was like, okay, but that's actually not gonna solve the lipoma even if I lose weight. And he's like, have you tried Manjaro? And I'm like, have you tried like clearing the fucking crust out of your corners of your mouth? Okay, let's start with there first before you judge me. I'm gonna judge you right back, motherfucker. And I was like, no, I haven't tried Manjaro. The side effects to me, from what I have been hearing about people experiencing them, like personal things, I don't think that's an option for me, and I'm gonna explore other avenues, like talking to the dietitian, continuing to try to exercise, even though I'm limited with my exercise because of my foot, right? So I have like many obstacles in which I am challenged on losing weight, but that doesn't mean I'm not trying, right? So it was just very dismissive. And I was telling him it hurts. And he's like, I don't care. If you don't like my opinion, you can go see another doctor. And the fact that he had the audacity to be that bold, even though I probably would see another doctor, but he was like a dick about it. So it makes me want to go see another doctor, right? And he's like, do you have hip problems? Well, that pain is actually coming from your hip that's radiating down here. But it was just the attitude, like not about educating me about like, hey, you could be experiencing it here, right? So he was just like, you're fat, lose weight, cool. I go to then get my ultrasound for said lipoma. And the student's doing it, and then she brings the tech out and she's doing it. She's like, oh, you actually have 2 lipomas in your leg. And I'm like, okay. And so she's like, what has the doctor said? And I'm like, oh, well, the doctor actually just told me to lose weight because I'm fat. And she goes, even if you lose weight, the lipomas are not going to go away. I'm like, ding, 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 correct. Me as like a not formally educated doctor, I'm like a WebMD doc, can fucking tell you this, right? So whatever, he wanted me to get an MRI, and like, no, because I don't like your opinion, so I'm just not gonna pay hundreds of dollars at the hospital who's going bankrupt. Thank you, Ralph Delatorre, for just wiping Stewart Healthcare off the map. And they charge me an arm and a leg for when I go there anyway. So I was like, while you guys are going bankrupt, I'm not pumping more money into you guys, especially because I am beefing with the hospital for my $2,000. Yeah, it was over $2,000. I forget what it was, $2,400 something, but over $2,000 spinal tap bill. So I was like, fuck y'all. I'm not paying any more money for this facility. I didn't even want to come see you. I'm beefing with the hospital, and that's where your office is. I don't want to see you here, right? Whatever. And then I also talked to my doc about me being 39 years old, potentially being perimenopausal, right? And I was just like, I've experienced changes in my body and just want to talk about this and want to learn more about it. And she's like, great, have you gotten in with the OBGYN? And I'm like, no, because every time I have a schedule, they cancel it because every practitioner is leaving the department and leaving this bankrupted organization. So I haven't been able to get into a gynecologist in like 3+ years, okay? Because this keeps happening, because I keep losing, and then it's all the referrals, and you can't find a new doctor or a doctor that's accepting new patients anywhere. So I'm like, great. Glad I'm not like dying of anything, but I would like to just get checked out. So I go there, and the doctor is a fucking ginger-haired bitch, okay? So I go in there, and I'm like, hi. She's like, all right, so tell me why you're here. I don't know why in my medical history, first of all, it was important for me to tell her where I grew up, to tell her I have a bachelor's degree, to tell her like where I work or anything that's like relevant to my vagina. Okay. So I was like, I don't know why any of this is applicable, and you keep asking me about these particular questions, but you're not asking me why I'm physically here, right? So I'm talking to her about stuff, and she's like typing on her little laptop, and then she's like, you need to lose weight. I'm like, again, correct. I have a fucking mirror. I can see that, okay? And she was like, well, why has your weight been increasing over the last few years? And I said, well, before I could even like finish speaking, I was like, well, my weight has always fluctuated. And she flips her laptop around so I can see the screen. She's like, this is not a fluctuation. And I said, well, if I can finish my motherfucking sentence, whore, before you come in like judging me. She was like, what was your explanation? Because this is like increasing. And I was like, well, I had major reconstructive foot surgery, which my Achilles is now shortened and I can't bend my foot. So for the last 7 years, not only have I been in excruciating pain, and I have like ligament and tendon pain all the time, and it even hurts to like fucking walk, unrelated but also related to my issues. I can't bend my foot, and I'm limited on exercises I can do. Can't do yoga because I can't bend my foot. Can't run because I can't bend my foot. Can't like even walk because I'm in pain all the time. Okay, so there's your explanation, right? So I was like, whatever. And then I also explained like, you know, some other health issues which would have accounted for my fluctuation. So again, if you guys need photos of the journey of my 39 years of my weight going like this, I will gladly provide them to you, right? So then she does like a quick little pap smear like check, and she's like, you're good to go. Any other questions? She's halfway out the door. And I said, actually, yeah, I do have a question because I want to learn more about perimenopause because I think I'm actually experiencing that right now. And she was like, no, you don't even do that till you're at least like 45, 46. You're good. Bye. Walks out of the room. I'm like, is this fire crotch for real right now? I came in to learn more about my body and to do research, which she clearly had none of, except for like judging me based on like what my chart said about my weight, when I'm physically talking to her about specific changes that I'm seeing in my body as she's halfway out the door to indicate that yes, I do believe I'm in this space. And you just want to dismiss it because I'm not in an age bracket yet. Very understood, not very demure, not mindful, and not fucking cutesy at all. I was like, this bitch. So needless to say, I was a bit of a Karen. Like they send like reviews out. I'm like, I'm never seeing this woman again. She needs to like shut the fuck up about things because that's not why I came, for you to tell me I'm fat. Like, and I don't think the things I'm experiencing with the lipoma and with the perimenopause really had any indication of like my weight, because those lipomas have been there since before I started gaining weight, and you know, things have been happening with my body that I don't think are directly weight related. So I was like, yeah, ho, I'm gonna write a bad review about you and be like, I'm never gonna see you again in your stupid blue ass eyeliner like to match your scrubs, because like no, if you listen to your patients and you actually are a good doctor and you're not scheduling patients every 15 minutes so you can learn about why they're there and not just accept a copay to get the next person in the door, like maybe you would actually fucking help me. And then she talked shit about my dietitian, and I've only talked to this woman once, but I'm like, I'm ride or die for that girl. So I was like, nope, I'm never going. So then I talked to the dietitian like a few weeks later, and I was like, girl was talking shit about you, so I'm never seeing her again. And the OBGYN was like, oh, you should go to the weight loss center. And then I told the dietitian about it. She's like, I actually hate the weight loss center because they only just pump you with like supplements and like try to prescribe you shit that like is so short term. It's actually not helpful for your body, and you're gonna gain the weight right back. So what a weight loss center is just trying to stay in business by doing things that are not actually going to work for you. And I'm not also subscribing to like getting weight loss surgery unless I'm like physically at risk and I'm dying. But she's acting like I need a forklift to get out of the house at that I'm so morbidly obese that I literally can't tie my shoe. This is what this woman was like, so dramatizing the fact that I'm just a little fluffy, okay? So all of this to say, I am extremely discouraged with healthcare as it is for like all of the medical issues that I have experienced. And I just want to like put this out as a PSA that like if you get an answer that you are not satisfied with, if you do not feel like you are being heard, understood, not appreciated, who gets appreciated? The doctors, they just want your money. But like if you're not being heard and understood at the doctors, like keep fighting until you get these answers, because you know your body more than anybody else. And actually people also don't know their body well, and sometimes I'm like, hey, like maybe you have this, and they're like, what? And then come to find out they've never even like heard of said thing because they don't know how to read their body. I know how to read my body. I know like my ailments, I express them clearly, and I still get ignored and dismissed. So healthcare, we have to do better. Kamala, when you're in office, I gotta call you up and we gotta talk about making some changes, because like shit's rough out here for like a regular schmegular patient like me. You know, I don't know. So all of this is just to like check in with you guys until I come back with my quarterly review of my life. And also just wanted to say, like, take care of yourselves, drink lots of water, fuck the haters, you know, all that shit. But maybe I'll come back in 2025 with an episode or 100. Imagine if I did 2 episodes per week. That would be so unhinged. But no, maybe I'll come back with my episodes, and I like give you that veiled threat all the time, but like maybe I will. I miss you guys. Let's talk about it. Let's shoot your shot at my DM. Tell me if you want me to interview you. But anyway, in the meantime, I love you guys. Keep being antisocial. Keep just like being badass, and I'll see you next time.